So today I want to talk about what happens if you combine a crazy idea with a social cause. A few months after I graduated from university, I found myself riding my bicycle through Iran. I was looking like a freak and probably I hadn't taken a shower in days, but I remember that I was extremely happy. I was feeling comfortable with my life on the road. I didn't care what I was smelling like, and I felt that my life had sense because I was doing something good. And I wasn't alone. We were 4 people cycling to India in order to raise funds for a sanitation project in Maharashtra. Now, how did I get here? I was writing my final thesis about a journey through India when I came here to Berlin to visit my old friend Thomas. He had just returned from a vacation to Goa, and we wanted to exchange our experiences in the subcontinent. So I talked about bus accidents and landslides, about a major diarrhea that I had caught in Varanasi, and I thought that I would die. And Thomas told me about romantic beaches and encounters with beautiful ladies. Well, anyways, this guy was gonna tell me something, and we had a good conversation. It went on, and suddenly he got all excited and he said, "Hey, I was just looking up Google Maps and I'm looking for the perfect land route to India because I want to cycle to India with a bike." I said, "What? You want to cycle with a bicycle to India?" He said, "Yeah, want to join?" And I said, "Who, me?" He said, "Yeah, why not?" And I said, "Yes." And I remember giving him the high five, and I can still hear that noise. I would have never thought what consequences that decision had. So looking at this Google Maps screenshot, it's pretty abstract. I couldn't imagine what that meant. And actually, I went home and I woke up the next morning hoping that it was just a dream. But no. I did my civil service with Thomas after high school, and we were always committed to social work. And it had been a while since I committed myself, and we decided that if we were going to do something so extremely crazy, then we would need a good motivation, and that we would love to do it for something good. And that is when this guy popped up. I didn't know him before. His name is Sven Riesbeck, and he is my personal Mr. Toilet. And when he was 17 years old, he had this revelation that his life was going to be all about shit. And he started making Excel charts with all the countries in the world and the people that didn't have enough sanitation, no toilets, and ever since his head was spinning around the topic, and he's 2 meters high, you can't see because he's hiding in a toilet. He's a pretty tall guy, and he likes to play basketball, just as my friend Thomas. So one day at a basketball match, after, Thomas and Sven had a little chat, and Sven, out of the blue, said, "Did you know that 2.5 billion people in the world don't have access to toilets?" And I'm not sure if Thomas in that moment knew what to do with that information. But then he found out that only in India, 600 million people don't have toilets at home. And suddenly, it all made sense with our little endeavor. And we talked about it, and we decided that we would like to raise funds for a sanitation project with our cycle trip. So I guess we started talking about it. You know, "Hey, what are you going to do next year?" "I'm going to cycle to India." "Really, what?" You know, like, yeah, no problem. And some people were crazy enough to say, "I would like to join you." Actually, after a while, it was more people than we wanted, so we had to decide. And this is the team that we ended up cycling together with, and that's Thomas, Eric, Moshimi, and me. A very diverse group. I knew Thomas, I didn't know the other two. Thomas is an entrepreneur engaged in the startup scene here in Berlin. Eric was a student of cultural science. Moshimi, a corporate lawyer from Johannesburg. And yeah, I had just finished my studies with something with media. There was nothing that really predestined us to do a trip like this. We were no professional cyclists or professional fundraisers. There was just this belief in a good cause and the adventurous spirit. We wanted to see what is out there, and we wanted to challenge ourselves. We were so enthusiastic about the whole thing that we already had crazy ideas how we were going to cycle all the way to Bombay and then build ecological toilets in the slums with our own hands. Luckily, we consulted some experts that told us it's not a good idea. It's more like a suicidal plan, and maybe you should get contact with some experts in India. So the German Toilet Organization, yeah, it exists, just as the World Toilet Organization does. They helped us. They provided the contact to an NGO in India, and yeah, at our kickoff, they brought this beautiful banner that says, "Saving lives with toilets." And they were a great support. They have been doing this for years now. They're really great. And in India, we found a little village in the state of Maharashtra called Dadewadi. I guess I still don't really know how to pronounce it, Dadewadi. Anyways, I love these people, meanwhile, and this is what it looks like. It's a beautiful village in a beautiful countryside in India. But this picture somehow is misleading because it doesn't show that 80% of the people in here didn't have toilets before we got there. And actually, I didn't know before I got engaged with this project what that all means. But just as an example, there were lots of diseases that were induced by the lack of enough hygiene. The women always had to go out at night because they were ashamed of doing their business in the open during the days, and somehow there was more sickness and illnesses than necessary. But they wanted to change, so here we were on our mission, laughing at our destiny. That is pretty much in the beginning when we thought, we're going to cycle to India. It's so easy, isn't it? What we didn't know is that there were a lot of challenges and a lot of changes ahead. So what does it mean if you live your comfortable life to cycle for months on the road? Well, it means that you have to step outside of your comfort zone. And as we all know, that is where the magic happens. Well, this is one of the nicer pictures. This is somewhere in Turkey, in the countryside, and you see that the highway is not too far away. We were already really hardcore at that point. But it's strange what happens with you if, for a long period, you don't know where you're going to sleep the next day. So it's not only a physical challenge, but it's also a mental challenge, because you have to relax, and you have to enjoy yourself. So we changed our attitude towards life, and we also wanted the villagers in India to change their hygiene habits. We wanted to positively impact their lives with building toilets for them, and we wanted to make sure that they would use them. So we had to make sure that they understand why it's necessary to use toilets. So let me come back to the toilet issue, or like Sven would say, the shit talk. As I said, 2.5 billion people don't have access to proper sanitation. That is 40% of the world's population. 1 billion people defecate in the open. It's called open defecation, and we don't even have a word for that in Germany. There are 50 different diseases that are transmitted by human excreta, and it's one of the main causes for child mortality. I admit that I didn't know most of this before we started, and I guess that most of us don't know because it's just not something that we usually talk about. It's not a very sexy topic, and it's just too easy for us to flush the shit down and forget about it. In our case, we were going to cycle to one of the countries with the biggest impact of the sanitation crisis. Because in India, 600 million people don't have toilets at home. Teenage girls leave school when they start menstruating because they don't have any privacy. And every minute, 1.1 million liters of excrement enter the holy river Ganges. Now, that is not a really nice picture, is it? And it's not a topic that we like to talk about. And so maybe we have to change the way that we communicate about it. Maybe if not building toilets for a village in India is going to get your attention, maybe telling you that I'm going to cycle 10,000 kilometers all the way from Germany to India in order to do so. So with our fundraising campaign, we tried to do exactly this experiment. What happens if we use all the attention that we can get from talking about an inspiring trip, an adventure that maybe a lot of people have been thinking of or might be dreaming of, to lure the attention of not typical or traditional donors, to then, at the back end, talk about shit. Tell them about the necessity of sanitation in India and around the world. So what we did is we started a fundraising campaign online on the Better Place platform. I don't know if you know it. It's a platform where you can raise funds online, and we used common social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter. We made YouTube videos every week, and we tried to get our followers engaged. So along the way, we got more followers, we got the donations that we needed, and we told the story of our trip. 10,000 kilometers for 10,000 euros to build toilets in India. We cycled for 5 months. We came across 11 countries. We met hundreds of friendly people. We served dozens of couches. We had a couple of flat tires and one broken whim. But all in all, we were extremely lucky because we didn't have any major accidents. We didn't have anyone who menaced us or robbed us. We never got attacked. You know, there's all these strange prejudices about the rough countries of the East, Iran and Pakistan, that we were going to come through. But we enjoyed ourselves. We had fun along the way, and we communicated that. We showed the people that we met. We posted the blog articles about how excited we were to witness extreme hospitality in countries that we didn't know and with people that were perfect strangers. And we used this happy spirit to inspire the people and to get attention for our cause. So eventually, we had a successful fundraising campaign. Not only did we get 10,000 euros, we got 15,000. And with the help of the German Toilet Organization and the German government, we doubled that amount in order to provide 35 ecological toilets for the villagers of Darewadi. This is just a couple of them, and you can see my friend Sven, he analyzed thoroughly every single one of these toilets. The villagers are very happy with their toilets. They're ecological toilets, so they can actually use the manure, their shit as manure and compost for their fields afterwards. They're gaining fertilizer. They're making more money through their shit. It's a prep, but when we reached this village with our bicycles, it was a very emotional moment, because after all of the cycling, after every time my butt ached, finally I saw what I was hoping for. I saw happy people, and I saw the outcome of our long but joyful journey. And these people, they are so happy with their toilets, their neighbors are now demanding to have the same toilets. Actually, they're like the biggest example for a successful sanitation project in the region. They are now ambassadors of change. They talk shit every day. If someone comes to them, they would be happy to say, "Hey, did you see my new toilet?" There's so many aspects of what happened ever since we decided to combine our crazy idea with this social cause that we also thought of, we had to tell the story and document it. So we decided to do a crowdfunding campaign for a documentary, which we did along the way. And that was also successful. We got a diverse crowd to watch our movie, not people who were necessarily interested in toilets, but people who wanted to see how it looks to cycle all the way. With people, friends of friends and families and so on, but people were interested in everything. You know, the movie is built with, first you get the whole bicycle trip, and then you end up with the shit. And we had them staying till the last minute, and it's amazing what has happened ever since. We won the German prize for business communications. I must admit I didn't even know that that existed, but it's funny enough that we as normal people, through a little campaign with fundraising and Facebook and so on, we were awarded a prize for our outstanding media campaign. I was able to make a web series for a big German-French TV channel, and I ever since have been working as a video journalist or a filmmaker in this area. And my friends have started a toilet business, which they're hoping to get extreme amounts of money to then cross-finance our toilet projects all around the world, hopefully. And we are still campaigning for toilets, we're still talking shit, and with our non-water sanitation organization, we are now building toilets for a tribal school in India, which we hitchhiked to India for last year. So, what are my learnings of this whole adventure? Say yes to the challenges in life, because what happened after I decided to spontaneously say yes to this crazy idea of my friend is incredible, and it changed my life dramatically. Everything I do today is indirectly somehow involved with what I did then. Team up. If you have something that you truly believe in, then it's easy to inspire others to follow you. And ask for help, because the more people help, the bigger the impact. It doesn't take a lot. Like I said, we were normal people, we were no professional cyclists, we had some bicycles, and we used social media. And even the equipment that I used to make the movie would fit into a backpack. Go out and do good. I know it sounds cheesy, you've probably heard it before, but as I said, for me, every time my butt was aching, or I was stressed by the team dynamics, and I missed my family and friends, I remembered that there were people on the other side waiting for us, that we would get there and bring them toilets. And enjoy yourself, because it's not about being, sacrificing yourself to do good. You can really enjoy yourself and you can profit from it. Yeah, you will get a lot of good experiences, and it's okay to be happy, because only if you're happy with what you're doing, you can inspire others to follow you. I'm happy that we started this project 3 years ago, and I want to inspire others to live their dreams and do the crazy ideas, and if you can, do it for good. Thank you very much.